Education is rooted in our values. It's even in our name. To show our appreciation and support of local schools, we are proud to say we're paying it forward. When you borrow with us, Education First will make a cash donation to the school of your choice. With your help, Education First has already donated over $100,000 to local schools. Find out how you can pay it forward. Visit us online at educationfirstfcu.org or stop by one of our many convenient Southeast Texas locations.
As we were thinking about what we wanted to say to you this year, Tropical Storm Imelda hit. And it hit schools and communities that were already impacted by Hurricane Harvey, and many of those schools had not fully recovered. For the past few years, we've seen your resiliency, and it inspired us. It's one thing to be able to give money back through the We're Paying It Forward program, but we wanted to say thank you.
This campus in particular is one of our high schools that serves students in grades 9 through 12, was severely impacted. Many of the buildings had over 6 inches of water in those buildings. We actually lost a few buildings that we are in the process now of remediating. We also had significant damages to one of our elementary schools with water in the schools.
Well, we received a lot of rain and water, rising water in Hurricane Harvey across our district. It was not just the Mauriceville end, but also the Little Cypress end. And so it was a disaster. And we were out of school for a total of 67 days.
Hurricane Harvey and Tropical Storm Imelda affected our schools immensely. Harvey, there was, I want to say, over 72, 73 inches of rain that hit this area in a 5-day period. Fast forward 2 years later, right now, Tropical Storm Imelda flooded 42 or 43 inches within a 2-day period, and the flooding was actually worse than it was for Harvey.
So 2 years ago, during Hurricane Harvey, we received about 2 to 2.5 feet of water inside of the middle school campus. So it was decided for us to build a portable campus.
The high school, the AIM Center, our alternative high school, and Vidor Elementary all received water. The high school maybe was affected the most, about 75% of it flooded, but we've been affected again. We're recovering, I think, much more quickly this time.
So Tropical Storm Imelda has caused us to rearrange our schools, as well as Hurricane Harvey. As a result of Imelda, we were forced to relocate students at Beaumont United High School because they were out of school over 3 weeks, about 17 days. If you go back to Hurricane Harvey, we ended up losing a facility as a result. Central High School ended up closing as a result of that particular hurricane. So we are in the midst right now of continuing to repair and restore our facilities.
There is an emotional toll on students. They had to grow up in a situation that we didn't have to deal with as children or as teenagers, and the expectation of my things will always be there in my home. It's safe, it's secure. They're not living with that, and so we do see some emotional issues from students that are dealing with loss, whether that's the loss of their favorite item or their loss of their building, and they're not in their normal routine.
You know, especially if their house flooded from the tropical storm from Imelda, and they come up here and they're having to adjust their schedules. One of the first things we talk about is counseling for those kids. So we make sure we have counseling for kids that need it, and then we try to teach the teachers to be aware of some things, and when they are aware that a student is acting a little bit different, they may need some counseling, they refer them to the counselor. So some kids, they adjusted well, some kids didn't, but we have ways to help those kids that didn't.
It's really difficult for kids of any age, whether they be smaller kids or older kids, because they sense the stress among teachers, among staff members here, but they really sense it at home. So we have a lot of kids coming to school, maybe living at grandma's house with 12 other people, or out on the driveway in a trailer with the 7 people in their family. We had kids after Harvey living in tents on the river. So the situations for a lot of them have been really critical. I know we've had some of our high school kids who have actually quit playing sports or being in the band or whatever because they felt like they needed to go to work and help the single mom who was taking care of them recover because she couldn't do everything by herself and she had lost her home and her car. So we see kids trying to wade through this situation that really needs to be handled in an adult way, and they don't have the skills for that yet.
So you've got all this personal struggle, and yet you got to come and show up for these kids because they're dealing with it in their homes and in their lives, whether it's a Melda struggle at home or these kids, you know, they're teenagers. they have struggles. And so we're trying to put our best foot forward as teachers and as staff so that we can be there for them and trying to kind of mask our own issues. And so I think that's what's so important and so great about our staff is we kind of rally.
I had 16 staff members, so myself included. In my personal house, I had 5 feet of water in there, and about 16 staff members had it as well. And some had insurance, some did not have insurance. So during that time, it was a very trying year because, I mean, we lost our home and we lost our school home.
The majority of our staff received some form of water in their homes in Hurricane Harvey. If a person did not have water in their homes, they had people in their homes living with them that were impacted directly.
The biggest lesson that I've learned is how resilient people are, and how if you pull together, you can accomplish anything that you set your mind to. And so we had some insurmountable odds that we had to kind of overcome. The fact that Hurricane Harvey hit late August, and we were able to pull together and get all the students back on campus in a 2.5-month time period.
Our students and our staff are very resilient. You know, when we shut down school earlier last semester and started remediating, we were working hard to get our kids back in school. That was the target and the focus. Can we get our kids back in a safe environment? And we were able to do that. Kids came back, they were happy to be back at school, and since then, things have been going very well. We relocated our 9th graders at Beaumont United to the South Park facility. Our fail price students are back in their building, and guess what? Kids are learning, teachers are teaching. So that's something that we're excited about.
I just think the biggest thing is it puts everything into perspective. You know, what's important? Yes, we're here to educate these kids. Yes, we want to get these kids to pass their standardized tests, but we also want to just help them become better human beings, be prepared for the real world, help them process these events. This sadly won't be the last kind of traumatic event most people or these kids go through. You know, that's just kind of life. It hits you with stuff. And so if they can learn how to kind of cope with this, then hopefully they can be better prepared to cope with stuff out there in the real world.
We try to get everything we can for our teacher, but sometimes we can't get everything for the teachers. And organizations like Education First do a wonderful job of outreach, contacting us, what can we do to help.
You know, we can't do what we do without partners. Educating children is a community effort. And the fact that Education First has gone so far above and beyond expected to support our campuses, in particular campuses that were impacted by Tropical Storm Imelda. We're seated in a facility right now that is gutted. But a few months ago, this facility looked totally different. It was full of teacher supplies, desks, children's instructional materials. All those things are gone. So the donations that we receive and the support that we receive from Education First goes a long way toward restoring what was lost. And it lets our staff, our teachers, our students know that, you know what, this is a community effort, our community cares. So it goes so far toward helping us meet the needs of our students. So we appreciate it and are so thankful for partners just like Education First, helping us educate our children.
Imelda hit Southeast Texas. Education First Federal Credit Union partnered with us here at 12 News and with the Beaumont Enterprise, and the partnership resulted in the creation of the Imelda Educators Relief Fund, Well, your generosity in that project has paid off. Today, teachers at Mauriceville Elementary School got brand new school supplies to replace the resources destroyed in those classrooms by Imelda. The whole idea, boosting the teachers.
This is my 30th year to teach, and having done this twice in 2 years, it's very sad to lose so many things, but to have all of the generosity that we have from people, it's unbelievably amazing.
Amazing for a few more days, too. Education First will travel to schools in Hampshire Finette to hand out supplies on Friday. The company will then head to Beaumont United High School and Fell Price Elementary. Great job, Education First.
We've always been committed to our schools and our educators. It's in our roots. It's who founded this credit union. But after these storms the past few years, our commitment has grown even stronger. It's important for us to give back through this program to help the schools, to allow them to have the money when they need it.
There are no words to describe that. I am so thankful, and it makes me realize how blessed we are to have community partners such as Education First that will step in all the time, not just in a disaster, but they step in all the time. They see the priority and the difference that education will make in a student's life. It will give them the choice for their future and what they want to do. And so we are blessed to be partners with you and to be recipients of your generosity.